So just starting off with my naked little brows here, look how disgusting they look. We're just going to brush through their hairs just so I can sort of see the shape that I want to go for. So you can see all the sparse areas and where I need to pluck my hairs also. So I'm just going in with my Anastasia Dip Brow Powder, whatever it's called, with a Zoeva angled eyeliner brush. I think it is, not actually a brow brush. So I'm just putting the product through my brows. I like to try and start with a line underneath and then do the line on top. But yeah, here I am just putting it towards the front so I can know where to stop so I don't go crazy and bring my brows in too close to each other. And then I'll follow it out to the end of my brow, trying to get the arch where it should be naturally. And then because right there you can see I have like no brow hairs, so I sort of have to draw on my skin, so it kind of looks a bit weird, but yeah, that's just what we have to do, unfortunately. Then once I've got most of the product on, I just take my brush and like angle it upwards so that it's not all just like dragged in a straight line. You can sort of see the brows going up naturally as they would, and then I'm just brushing through, just get rid of the bulk product so it's all spread out through the brow, just so that it's not all in one spot and we can see what shape the brows are heading towards. This is pretty much all I'm going to do with my brows for now. I go in later and put some, what is it called, brow gel on. But yeah, you can sort of see that my brows aren't that good, and right here I've got hairs coming down like onto my skin where my brow shape doesn't go, and on that side it's not as bad, but my brows are thinner. So yeah, that's just what we have to work with at the moment. I'm taking a Morphe brush and a Morphe concealer, and I'm going to conceal my eyelids. It's more of my eyeshadow primer. I just use a concealer for that because I've tried like the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer, but I just find that using a concealer works a little bit better because you also get the colour to conceal all the veins and just have it all one shade on your eyes so the eyeshadow blends in nicely. So yeah, just packing on that product, smoothing it out, blending it out, and then to also carve out the brows, I'll take that same concealer and just bring it up as close as I can to underneath my brow and sort of try and carve out the line, but don't get too closely, otherwise my concealer will actually go in my brow and it looks terrible. So yeah, we'll just blend that one out as much as we can. Then just taking whatever little product I've got left on the brush with the same concealer brush, I'll go on the top of my brows to try and carve out the top part of my brows. So we're just going in here. I try and start pretty far away from the brow so I don't get too close too soon and it just becomes a hot mess. So I just trace around the brow and then I get in closer and closer, and then once you've packed on the product and you can see the line that you want to go for, I just take my brush upside down and yeah, you can sort of see here, like push it upwards so that it blends out naturally and the harsh line isn't too like close to the brow. Here you can see just pushing the product upwards so it blends out and it's not this one big harsh giant white line. It looks better once obviously the foundation's over the top and you can't see this giant white patch. But then I just like to take my brush again and comb through my brows to make sure if any concealer's touched in, I can blend it out as much as I can, make sure it's still got the right shape we want. And just going in with my Laura Mercier translucent powder, I'm just popping that over the top of the concealer to set it so we don't get any creases and the eyeshadow blends nice and smoothly. And just brushing through my brows one more time before I go in with the Benefit Clear Brow Gel just to set my brows. So popping that one in, just combing my hairs up in an upwards motion sort of, so you can try and set the brows where you want them to stay. You can see, look at my tail, I've got no hairs on my brow. I'm actually getting them microbladed soon, so yeah, we'll have that fixed shortly. And then just wiping off any excess product I can see with my hands, and then once I go in with primer, it sort of blends out the concealer that's gone around the edges. My Beauty Blender and my Real 10X sponge, so I just went and wet those ones getting ready, and I'm taking the Stila One Step Correct primer today. It's more of like a silicone smoothing primer. It's supposed to be a colour correcting one obviously, but I have heaps of redness, so I don't think it does too much, but it's, you know, one of the better primers I've tried. So just popping that all over my face. I also like to try and take my fingers around my brows where I have, so that'll smooth out the harsh line that I created with that concealer as well. Then I leave that one on for about 5 to 10 minutes before I go in with my foundation so that it doesn't move around the product and it has a chance to set. Today I think I used the MAC foundation or Estee Lauder, I can't remember. I'll write it in the description below. I've completely forgotten. My camera wouldn't focus on anything, so I didn't even bother putting my product shots in because it just wouldn't happen. So yeah, I'm just dotting that all over my face and then going in with my beauty blender to blend it out. So yeah, just blending that out. Literally that's all that you have to do with a beauty blender. I think it's the easiest way to put your foundation on, but it's kind of time consuming compared to a brush, I personally feel, because it takes forever and my arm like actually starts hurting. I have to like take a break because I don't know why, but my arm just hurts every time I use a beauty blender. So yeah, I'm just trying to blend that out into my hairline. I like to pull my hair back as far as I can so I don't get it in my hair. And then just going up on my ears as well, make sure those are blended. I have to pull my nose to the side because my pores like just don't take foundation, so that's kind of funny. I decided I'd include that to show you guys. And I like to take a brush down my neck so it blends a lot easier because I struggle to get the beauty blender to blend out nicely through my neck. So just using a Real Techniques brush to blend that down my face. And for highlighting, I'm just using a MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I put too much on. Obviously, if anyone has this MAC concealer, you'll know that it's impossible to get a small part out on your brush. When you pump it, it just doesn't stop coming out. Then I'm just taking my Real Techniques sponge and blending that out as much as I can because yeah, obviously too much product, but yeah, we're trying to salvage it here. And then blending that up into my hairline. And then after I've blended out as much as I can with the Real Techniques sponge, I'll go back in with my foundation sponge that I use, my beauty blender, just to blend it out around the edges. It makes it a lot easier. So you've got the two products blending into one, and then just absorbing like some of the extra product with a beauty blender also works really well. Set the concealer I just popped on. I'm using the RCMA No Color Powder. Everything creases on me, so I don't even have a recommendation on what to use for under eye powder. But yeah, the lid doesn't hold any product, so I have to use my Laura Mercier lid to pop my powder on, and then take my Real Techniques sponge and put it underneath my eyes. I don't bake for long because, as I said, I just get creasing really bad, so I only leave it on there for maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, if that. So just popping that underneath, and then we will go in after I've set my foundation with a powder, and then we'll blend it out at the same time. So just taking a Real Techniques fluffy brush and the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. I have oily skin, but regardless of how much I set my foundation, I get oily throughout the day. It doesn't even matter. So just blending that through and taking off the bake once I'm finished. So yeah, I don't even leave it on for 2 minutes, if that. Once I've finished setting my face, I'm going to go in with my Anastasia contour kit in light to medium. I'm just taking the 2 shades. Oh, come on, open it. I'm just taking the middle shade and the darker brown shade. I don't know. And then just trying to contour. I suck at contouring. I don't know. I can't get it to work for me very well. But anyways, we're just going in with a Zoeva angled contour brush and just blending it up as much as I can. I like to take it a little bit into my hairline, but not like crazy, just so that I have like a non-seam, so it just looks like it blends out nice and easily. Doing that on both sides, and once I'm finished with my contour, it still looks like crap. I'm just taking what's left over on my Real Techniques sponge, the RCMA No Color Powder, and just putting a little bit underneath where I contour, because I always bring it down too far, but I don't want to like bake underneath there, so I only just use the leftover powder. And then I brush that off later once I'm finished with the rest of my face. So I'm taking that contour shade just underneath my jawline, my chin, just to kind of give me more of a shape down there, because obviously triple chin's coming out. So we'll try and blend that down my neck. Then going in with my, Real Techniques, the powder brush, just brushing off that little bit of powder I put underneath my contour. It's nothing crazy, so we'll just brush that out. And then to bronze my face, I'm using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer and a Morphe angled brush. I don't know what the name of that is because it just came in a roll with no names on it at IMATS. So just taking that around the outside perimeter of my face, my temples, forehead, wherever I need a little bit more extra colour. Taking it over my contour? I don't even remember what anything's called anymore. Just taking that all around my face to give me a little bit more colour, because I'm very pale, so any foundation I use just puts me like in this giant white cast. So once I'm happy with that, I will, obviously not happy with that, I'll just keep going then, shall I? It's just not happy with that bronzer at all. I'm just going to keep going in apparently. And some more, why not? So just bronze, and some more bronzing till you're happy with all of the bronzing. Oh my god, Shannon, you're crazy. Then finally moving on to blush. I don't like to wear blush that often, but when I do, I like more of a darker sort of tone blush. This one is Tarte in the shade Partey, with heaps of A's and a Partey. So just popping that on the apples of my cheek, blending it backwards. I don't like to use too much. To highlighter, I'm using my Anastasia 23 brush with some MAC Fix Plus on the brush. Splayed it completely in the wrong direction, so I'm just trying to swirl it in the air so I can catch the product still. Using the Laura Geller Gilded Honey Baked Highlighter. Just taking some of that on my brush, tapping off the excess because it does kick up a little bit. Popping that on my cheeks. It doesn't show up on camera that well, but in person it is a really nice, pretty gold highlighter. So we're just blending that one in until, so you can sort of see it here in the light. Oh, yep, the other side looks a little bit better. But yeah, this camera is just picking up weird things with all the lighting. But, see, there you go. There it is. Nice stripe of highlight on my cheekbones there. And just taking a little bit on the top parts of my forehead. And then on the nose, Cupid's bow, down the center of my nose, just a tiny bit. Because I do get oily there, so I don't want to accentuate it too much. And then just popping it down on my Cupid's bow. I think I'm going in now. Then setting my face with some MAC Fix Plus. I like to set my face before I move on to my eyeshadow because everything just looks cakey and powdery on me. So I like to try and set it while I'm moving on to something else. Wave your hands around like you just don't care, obviously. Looking like a crazy person. And yeah, so that is most of the face products done. Moving on to the eyeshadow look. Starting off with the Too Faced Semi-Sweet Chocolate Bar Palette. I'm going in with the orange shade Peanut Butter just as my transition shade. Using a... Ooh, I'm pretty sure this is a Zoeva brush. I'll leave the link down in the description if it is not. So I'm just popping that into my crease, making it my transition shade. Just blending, blending, blending. Going in with, I went in one more time with a little bit more product. But the only thing yet with eyeshadow is you've just got to keep blending. Everything will look beautiful if you just keep blending. So I like to try and take it out in that outer corner as well. Just to give it a little bit more definition around the outside. Around the outside. And then that is what it looks like just with that colour down. Next, using the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia, I'm going in with the shade, I think it's called Regal or Regal or something, I don't know, with a MAC 217, just taking that again into the crease, but more defining it, building the colour up a lot. I just like to see, stop halfway and see how the look is going, just to see if I like the shape and the direction of what I'm doing. Bringing it out to the outer part of my eye as well. Just keep building up the colour, keep blending it out. That's all it is. Just blend, blend, blend. Then I picked up a little bit more colour. And then going into, this is the shade, I'll have to leave it in the link below. It's like a purpley sort of shade, undertone, maroon colour. And I just want to take that just in the outer V area. So you can see I'm trying to carve out the V line. And just bringing that shadow right in there. And just blending it out until I'm happy with it. And then just taking the original brush I started with the tiniest bit of more product on it, just blending everything out so I've got a little bit of a seamless edge, no harsh lines or anything, just blending all three colours together so it looks nice and smooth. Then just taking the second shade again just to deepen up the crease a little bit because I have lost a little bit of that second colour. So we'll just go back in with that one, keep blending, blending, blending. I like to take that brush on the side sort of and just deepen it, the crease that way. And taking a clean blending brush, this is a MAC something, and just blending the whole look together with no product on this one at all. And then just taking a flat shader brush, pardon me, Jesus, with some MAC Fix Plus, spray that in the wrong direction as usual, and going with the shimmer shade from the Anastasia palette in, I can't pronounce any of these, but I think Primavera or something. And then we're just going, I was trying to aim for more of the 2/3 of the lid, but shimmer shades on me, they always crease on the upper part of my eyelid, so this starts off in the 2/3 but ends up pretty much being the whole lid. So we're just packing that colour on till we're happy with the pigment, just checking to see how it's going, and then going in with the darker purple shade again, just transitioning those two colours together so it doesn't look as harsh. And then once I'm happy with where that one is, I will just take my brow bone highlighter, which is Anastasia shade, and taking that one on a small Zoeva brush. I probably shouldn't have used shimmer for my brow bone highlight, but you can have another of shimmer. So I just take that one, blend it out as much as I can. You can see all of my brow hairs through that because I need them desperately plucked, so I apologise about that. but just keep blending those out until I'm happy. There's no harsh line. Using that same shade on my inner corner for my highlighter. Sorry that it's out of frame, don't know what I was doing there. Obviously just having a play around, like God knows what. Oh, and again, underneath my lash line, I'm just going in with the, I don't remember, so I'm just going to say I'm going with this colour. I'll leave links, why do I keep saying links on the screen? I will leave the shade names on the screen for you. So just taking my fluffy brush again, and we're just smoothing out the edges underneath and on top so that the whole look is just transitioning in together. And then I'm going to go back in with that same Anastasia single shade and bring my inner corner highlight just down a little bit underneath my lash line, so it just looks a little bit more brightened and down in that area. And this is just what the eyeshadow looks like. I went in a couple more times and just blended it out. I didn't go in with any more colours. I just kept blending out until I was happy with the way it looked and I had no harsh lines. Just like to use my powder brush to pick up any fallout I might have had and just smooth over my face one more time. Then going in with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray, just spraying that all over my face, and then bringing back my flying around arms. Whoop, 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 whoop. Yeah, boys. Oh, look like a nutter. And then just taking the Urban Decay Perversion Mascara. I actually really like this one. I only just recently started using it. And we're just coating my lashes. I like to try and, you know, people like blink into them and then like just smudge the brush around. I like to try and do a combination of both because I just want to get as much product on there as I can. Just using that on top and bottom lashes. And that is the final look, guys. So thank you so much if you enjoyed this video. I know it's just a simple makeup look, but I thought I'd share it with you guys anyway. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Bye bye.